Welcome back to Living Your Best Life. I'm your host, Coach Adamir. I hope you're having a great month so far, you guys. I hope you've been able to stick with your new habits, your new goals. I know it can be difficult at times to continue, especially when it's newer habits, getting rid of old habits, things like that. It's really difficult to not slide back to old ways when things get tiring, when they get difficult, when you just don't feel like doing stuff, right? So, if it helps you guys, this will be the third week that Audrey and I have not had any alcohol. We've also meal prepped every weekend. We've cut out TV during the week so that we can stay focused on our studies and our career goals. And we've also committed to each reading at least 1 to 2 books each month so that we can stay sharp, keep our minds educated, keep our growth educated, just feed our development, right? And we've also stuck to our workout programs. Now listen, you guys, I don't say this to brag, okay? I hate bragging. I'm the furthest from it. I'm not gonna do it. Um, I say this in the hope that it gives you hope, right? That while difficult, because believe me, you guys, it's been difficult, right? There's definitely been times where we both just want to go to have a drink at a bar, watch a football game, watch a basketball game, whatever it may be, or just hang out with some friends and have a few drinks, right? But we made a commitment to each other. We made a commitment to ourselves, and in a sense, I kind of made a commitment to you guys, right? I mentioned it at the beginning of January that I wouldn't drink, and I still haven't. So, we made our goals a priority. We're committed to accomplishing them. Um, we have to stay focused, right? So, in order for us to stay focused, we have to take stock of what we're doing with our time. So, cutting out TV during the week gives us that time to focus on what we need to focus on. Okay, so that kind of brings me into what I want to talk to you about today, and that's self-awareness. All right, in order for us to be better, in order for us to change our habits, in order for us to accomplish our goals, we need to be aware of our standards, we need to be aware of our values, and we need to be aware of how we feel, right? In order for us to live up to our goals, in order for us to live up to our standards. All right? So first things first, what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is the ability to focus on yourself and how your actions, your thoughts, your emotions do or don't align with your internal standards. All right, I know that may be a lot, but basically what that is, it makes it easier to objectively evaluate yourself, to manage your emotions, align your behavior with your values, and really understand how other people perceive you. Okay, so self awareness, um, once you start becoming more self aware, it correlates with higher levels of happiness. It's critical in helping you achieve higher levels of job satisfaction, job performance. If you're looking for a promotion, if you're looking to advance in your career, self awareness is key in helping you accomplish that. It's going to help you become a better leader. So if you have people that work under you, if you're a manager, if you're a supervisor, or if you just have people that look to you in your department, in your family, in your team, whatever it may be, it'll help you be a better leader. And it'll also improve your relationships with your spouse, your coworkers, your friends, your family, your kids, your parents, whatever it may be that you have a close relationship with someone, it's going to help you improve that relationship once you become self-aware. Okay? There are two psychologists, Shelley Duvall and Robert Wickland. They basically describe self-awareness as this, quote, when we focus our attention on ourselves, we evaluate and compare our current behavior to our internal standards and values. We become self-conscious as objective evaluators of ourselves, end quote. So that's basically the original definition of self-awareness that came from their writings. Okay, they're psychologists, so you know they have a lot of books, a lot of writings. That's basically just a small part of them talking about self-awareness, but that's kind of the meaning that they brought to light in their writings. Okay, so when you focus on yourself, you compare yourself with your standards. All right, and those standards are what's going to specify how you ought to think, how you feel, how you behave. Um, they're basically your ideals, right? Your values and your beliefs. You have to be aware of those in order to live accordingly to those, right? And you're going to feel good or bad depending on how well your behavior matches up with your standards. Okay, so if you see yourself not living up to your standards, you're probably going to feel bad about it. If you see yourself exceeding your standards or at least living up to your standards, you're definitely going to feel good about yourself, right? So if you're not satisfied with what you notice, you're going to want to make those changes to get in alignment with your values. Okay, if you're not satisfied with work, if you're not satisfied with your friendships, your relationships, if you feel that at work you're better suited for something else, if you feel that, I hate to say it, but if you feel like you're better suited in a different friend group, then you may start looking for ways to align your life with that, right? You want to live in your values. You want to live according to your beliefs. Okay, and this isn't just about your mental health, your emotional health, right? Your wellness like that. It also can be a physical awareness of where you're at, right? You may be unhappy with your muscle definition. You may be unhappy with your overall weight or how your pants fit, or that you can't go up and down the stairs without being out of breath. You become self-aware of that. You may want to change your eating habits. You may want to change your drinking habits, right? You may want to add more activity in your life so that you don't feel that way anymore. But until we become self-aware of how we're feeling, of how circumstances make us feel, we can't make those changes and we can't meet those standards that we've set up for ourselves originally. A lot of times we forget about our own standards, right? So it takes checking in weekly, daily, monthly, whatever helps you to come back to that. Okay, and there's two types of self-awareness. Okay, there's internal self-awareness, which that's your self-awareness, how you see yourself, right? How you see your values, your passions, your aspirations, your ambitions, right? How well those standards fit with your environment and your reactions. And then there's external self-awareness, and this is the ability to clearly see how other people view you, right? When you see yourself the way others see you, you become a little more empathetic on their reactions or on how they feel or on how they communicate with you, okay? And if you're a leader, if you're, like I said earlier, a manager, a supervisor, if you're a leader in your home, you're going to be a lot more effective by being externally self-aware of how people see you. All right, so now that we know what self-awareness is, how do I become more self-aware, Coach? First, you ask what instead of why. When you assess your current state, your emotions, and your environment, it's really easy to ask why, right? Why me? Why this? Why is this happening? Why can't this be? Why can't that be? Why am I not here, right? But unfortunately, that's highly ineffective. We all know the why me mentality is not helpful, all right? And the reason for that is you don't have a lot of access to your unconscious thoughts, right? Your feelings, your motives, that the programming that we've had from years and years and years, from when we were kids, right? So odds are we're wrong about why we act certain ways. Okay, we don't sometimes know why we react to certain things or why we react a certain way. So instead of asking why, we have to ask what. All right? You had a bad day at work. What is it at work that's making you have a bad day? Right? What's making you anxious at work? What is it about work that you're not enjoying? Right? Is it the coworkers? Is it your boss? Is it the work that you're doing that's not meaningful enough? What is it about the job that makes you feel this way? Not why. All right? Once you recognize factors that are outside your control, that don't align with your goals or your passions, it's going to help you find ways to fix those. Right? So if you're asking things about work and they're not aligning with your values, then maybe it's time to do something different. Okay? But you have to be self-aware enough to recognize that and to change your career, to change your job, to change your position at your current job, whatever it may be. If you want to start that business and you've been scared to because, well, it's scary. It's really scary to start something new, right? But if your job is making you feel anxious, depressed, and frustrated, maybe it's time to move on, okay? Another thing you can do to become more self-aware, spend time with yourself. I know we hear this a lot, and I'm sure most of us understand and recognize the benefits of doing it, but we don't. I'm pretty sure a lot of us don't do it. And that's because it's weird. We don't get taught to spend time with ourselves. Right? We don't know what to do. We always have to be doing something. There always has to be something going on. Right? But that gives us an opportunity to slow down and to really hear ourselves, hear our thoughts, and kind of slow things down, right? And pick apart what we feel and what we're thinking throughout that time. So, in order for you to be able to spend time with yourself, get rid of distractions, right? Turn off the TV, turn off your phone, put it on do not disturb. Give yourself that time. Create that space for yourself. Audrey and I created a space for ourselves at home. We have an office, a home office, and it's where I record, it's where I journal in the mornings, it's where I read in the mornings. Audrey created her own little space next to the desk where she has her meditation pillow, lights, and nice little comfortable space for her to meditate and set her intention for the day. Gives her time to spend time with herself and her thoughts and really slow things down so that you're not bombarded throughout the day being pulled left and right. Right? You've centered yourself, you know what you yourself want, you're self-aware of your feelings, you're self-aware of what you're going to do to improve on your situation. Okay, so give it a try, you guys. If you don't have a space to create, just close the door in your room, go in your closet, go in your car, right? Tell your family, tell your roommates, tell whoever you live with, I need 30 minutes of distraction-free time for myself. And if you don't have time after work or during the day because of work, or you have obligations at home with your family, that's totally fine. Then wake up 30 minutes earlier. I know you're probably like, Coach, seriously, I'm not waking up earlier than I already have to. If anything, I'd want to sleep more. I get it. I would want to sleep more too, but you get used to it, I promise you. All right? The 30 minutes that I make for myself in the morning to make sure that I journal, to make sure that I read, I can't go without anymore. All right? So, people always ask me or wonder, why the hell do I wake up so early? That's why. Everyone's asleep. It's quiet outside. It's still dark. No one's bothering me, no one, I don't have emails, nothing. I'm not looking at anything. It's just me and what I need to do for myself to set my mind right for the day. Okay? And once you start spending time with yourself, you're able to move on to the next thing, and that's practicing mindfulness. All right? And if you don't know what mindfulness is, that's the basic human ability to be fully present, to be aware of where we are and what we're doing, and to not overly be reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. All right, that seems like a lot, but it's not. All right, it's a quality that every human being possesses. You already have mindfulness. You already know how to do it. It's not magic. You don't just pull it out of thin air. Right? You just have to learn how to access it and use it. And then what that's going to allow you to do is be present with yourself. It's going to allow you to observe your thoughts in a non-judgmental way. Just kind of see your thoughts happening as they come. All right, and it's going to help you check in with yourself when you have these uneasy feelings creep up. All right. So next time you feel frustrated, next time someone says something to you at work, or your partner upsets you, or you lose patience, or your kids upset you, or whatever it is, stop, breathe, check in with yourself. Be mindful of what's going on through your head. What's going on in your mind? How are you feeling? Why do you feel this way? What's making you feel this way? And I know it seems like, I can't stop in the middle of a quote-unquote argument to check in how I'm feeling. Well, if you do that, maybe you won't have that argument. Sometimes it's not necessary, right? Sometimes we need to figure out what's going on first with ourselves before we react, right? You got to be proactive with your reactions, okay? And once you do that, once you're present enough, you're going to acknowledge your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. And that's going to help you become more acquainted with them. Once you acknowledge them, you become acquainted with them, you understand how to process them and how to move past them if necessary. Okay? And then the last thing you guys can do, be a better listener, ask for feedback. All right, and this is being a better listener in terms of listening to your loved ones and them venting about how they feel, about their day, about what they're going through, but also being a better listener in feedback, right? In constructive criticism, in hearing your loved ones on how you've been acting or how they've seen things in you that may be different or not different, better or not better, right? So when you learn how to listen, when you learn how to do that without evaluating, without judging what's being heard, you're going to be a lot more empathetic and you're going to understand people better. Right? We all crave to be heard, right? If someone were to tell you, hey, you got 30 minutes, just tell me whatever you want to talk about, you're going to feel so much better, right? And that person's going to be able to understand you better because you've been able to talk about yourself. So be that for other people as well, right? And especially the important people in your life. When you listen to those people, your loved ones, the most important people, that's going to give you a true sense of how they perceive you and how you perceive them also. Okay? So once you learn how to be a better listener, you can then use those listening skills to listen to yourself and become better at understanding your own thoughts and your own emotions. Okay? Because when you start listening to yourself, you're going to gain different perspectives, all right, on who you are. You're going to be able to see a truer, more complete picture on your true self. All right? And then once you start practicing self-awareness, there's plenty of benefits. I'm not going to get into every single one of these because I think some of these can be self-explanatory, but here you go. First one, it's going to give you the power to influence outcomes. Right? When you're able to control how you react to something, you can control how it's going to end for the most part, right? Within reason. Okay? It's going to help you become a better decision maker. Right? So when things come up, when you have to decide something on the fly, you're going to be able to decide quickly and not question this or question that or wonder what's going to happen if I decide this or if I don't decide this. Okay? It's going to give you more self-confidence. Right? Self-confidence, as a result, you're going to be able to communicate with clarity and intention. When you're confident about what you want, when you're self-aware about what you want, how you feel, and what your values are, you can definitely speak clearly and communicate with more intention. Right? It's also going to allow you to understand things from multiple perspectives. Right? So like I said earlier, when you listen to people, when you listen to what they have to say, when you listen to their feedback about you, you're going to be able to understand things from their point of view, from someone else's point of view, from your point of view, multiple perspectives. All right? And what that's also going to do, it's going to help free you from your assumptions and your biases. Right? If you have certain assumptions about a person or a certain group of people, you know, once you start being aware and start listening to why you're feeling this way or what made you feel that way to begin with, you're going to release those assumptions. You're going to release those biases, okay? Better relationships. We already talked about that. When you know who you are, you'll be able to be better to other people, and they'll be able to connect and relate to you a lot more, all right? And then you'll also have a greater ability to regulate your emotions. If you're aware of your emotions, if you understand why you're feeling a certain way, you'll be able to regulate them much better and control them much better. Right? You'll have mastery over your emotions, which is what we all want. All right, and then the last thing that's going to happen once you become more self-aware, and I really think this could be the secret to life, you guys, it's going to make you happier and it's going to decrease stress. Self-awareness is going to make you happier and decrease stress. All right, if you don't want that, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys. Just be self-aware, all right? And a lot of good things are going to happen in your life. A lot of things will change, your perspectives will change, you'll see things differently. Okay, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. I won't tell you guys what to do anymore until next week. All right. But seriously, my goal is for you to achieve your goals. My goal is for you to live your best life. All right. And if you don't know what that means for you, that's totally okay. All that means is that now's the time for you to become more self aware of what that is. All right. Please don't go through life just existing. Don't go through life just being pushed around by your circumstances. All right. Decide what you want in your life. Make a plan for what you want in your life and go work hard every single day to live up to your internal standards. Only good things will come from that, I promise. Okay? So thanks again, you guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate your support. If you have any questions, just find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter, at Coach Adamir. I'd be more than happy to start a conversation, answer a question, and I'll answer as soon as I possibly can, I promise, okay? Also, if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, please do so. You'll get alerted every time there's an episode. And review it. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it too. It'll help, keep my mind fresh on bringing you guys new content. All right, so next week we're back into our nutrition week. Sweet, that'll be exciting. But until next time, everyone, just remember, love yourself and go be the best version of yourself. Bye.